So path 2 is really that the philosophy and the principle of when we're stuck and not getting the results we want, whether that's emotional results, whether that's family connection, whether that's career, whether it's health. It's the idea of stepping back and saying, maybe it's the entire avenue that I'm choosing that's incorrect, as opposed to I am inadequate as a person or ill-equipped. And so as a parent, the ability to step back and say, what do I need to let go of? And the first thing I had to let go of is what I thought it was to be a father, because it was based on a model that I came to the table with. And it's, again, just like every structure in society where we kind of have preconceived notions and we just assume if we follow it, we'll get a certain result. The idea of creating a parent model in my head without ever meeting the person I'm going to be parenting is completely ridiculous. So it already assumes I know something I don't know. And what happens is when I see, as a father, I was watching my sons misbehave in a way that wasn't in alignment with my expectations. My assumption was they're misbehaving, not, hey, maybe you should try a different approach. And so there was a lot of resistance of trying to kind of push them back into alignment with what my model of a father was, not just in their behavior, but in my adherence to that idea of a father. So when taking the path 2 concept of stopping and saying, let's reorient, where are we? Oh, well, right now we're in the middle of a disaster. All hell has broken loose. Everything has fallen apart. Maybe we should stop this approach. Okay, now let's reorient on what's important. Okay, here's who I am as a person. Here's who my sons are as people, as individuals. And then what is the goal of a parent? And I had to really step back and let go of all the goals I came to the table with. So initially it was, well, a parent, the effectiveness of a parent is evaluated based on what their children become. Right? Oh, and you hear this all the time where it's like, oh, so-and-so's son is a doctor, so-and-so's daughter's a lawyer. And it's like somehow that's a testament for the quality of parenthood. So I had to decouple that from my own emotional expectations and say, what is the real purpose that I serve? And it's not to get some outcome. I need to be able to only guide my sons up to a certain point. And the idea is if I can guide them to a point that allows as many options in life available to them as possible, then I've done my job. The outcome is entirely on them. I just got to get them to a point where they are healthy and they're happy to the point where they can make their own decisions. And so that path 2 concept was I really had to reinvent what I thought it was to be a father and really let go of old notions. And then more specifically and probably more importantly, is be open about it. So I distinctly remember sitting down with my older son when he and I moved away and said, okay, while I'm your dad and you might think I know what I'm doing, I have no clue what I'm doing. And I'm going to reinvent my role from the beginning because clearly what I was doing wasn't working. But I also don't know what to do. So I'm going to need feedback, and the feedback is going to be based on your actions and your words, and you don't necessarily need to know what they are. But we're going to learn this together on what's the right kind of parent that you need, which was a really challenging thing for me because it was this level of servant leadership that I was used to doing professionally, but now I was doing it with a child who also probably didn't know the right way either. So it's a little bit like the blind leading the blind. And in that case, you're better off holding hands than not. And so that's what we opted to do. It was, okay, let's hold hands and do this together, blind leading the blind, as opposed to you go off and do your thing, I'll go off and do mine, and we'll pretend that we're parent and child and things are going to work. So it really takes that kind of reevaluation of, what is the main goal? And I don't necessarily need to know how to get there. I need to know what my purpose is in trying to get there.